Thank you very, very much for that, and just so great for you to be covering that Mandela Day initiative. So thank you so much. Again, all those hashtags on the screen, please let us know what you're doing today. Be More Madiba is the hashtag we've been promoting for a while. Hashtag Mandela Day, that's today. And of course, hashtag Time to Serve. Well, let's come back to where we are right now, broadcasting from Durban, just outside the International Convention Centre. And this is where lots of people are going to be gathering over the next couple of days, talking about all issues surrounding HIV and AIDS. And my goodness, are there so many issues and different groups and organizations that have come here and wanting their space to be able to talk. And one issue that really is going to, I suppose, be one of those agendas that's going to cause a lot of emotions, and that is that of the plight of sex workers. They're highly vulnerable to HIV infection, as you can imagine. South Africa has become one of the world's first countries to begin rolling out the Test and Treat to sex workers as it launches Africa's first plan to prevent and treat HIV among sex workers. But to talk more about the HIV/AIDS programs for sex workers, I've got Nozipho from the Sex Worker Education and Advocacy Taskforce, or otherwise known as SWEAT, with us here on the program. It's so good to have you. Thank you for being with us, albeit a little bit voiceless at this stage.
My voice has gone because since the start, which is like 3 days ago, we've been doing a lot of direct action, a lot of advocacy work. We were involved in the march on Saturday with AHF, which we were joining with other people and saying that government must keep the promise right now, and it's time that they take up action to actually move forward in not just the prevention stage, but to try and make sure that we have an AIDS-free generation, and that wherever there's vulnerability, there starts being protective measures that actually have impact, instead of just lip service where they promise and nothing is really happening, especially within the sex work industry, where we released the National Strategic Plan for Sex Workers and HIV, which has a lot of great packages, especially biomedical. But we have not seen implementation, and government has not told us where they're going to be able to actually fund the programs that they have promised us, since it was officiated by the Minister of Health and Cyril Ramaphosa in his capacity as SANEC's body.
Yeah. I want to talk about, I mean, it's written there on your T-shirt, and this is what you stand for: decriminalize sex work now. How will it help? I know that you talk about, and I'll quote basically what the organization has said, that the continued criminalization of sex work makes no sense. It ensures that no matter what grand projects and interventions we design and present to each other, it'll still be behind closed doors. It will still be closed with sex workers left on the outside. Decriminalizing it, is this a solution? Bring them into the fold?
Basically, we've seen it through practice, that is actually the most beneficial for everybody, for the community, for the departments that are involved, health, social justice. It's actually worked in Australia, where it's decriminalized, and there is evidence that it's actually going to work better for sex workers in South Africa, because you have HIV interventions programs that are going to be accessible to sex workers. Right now, sex workers are discriminated in clinics, and when they actually approach clinics and they get stigmatized, and the nurses shout at them through the whole of CDC facilities, basically telling the whole community that this is a sex worker. She went out there and she called the HIV on her, she called the rape on herself, and then they push to the background. It's actually not easy for them to go back to the same clinic, which is where they're supposed to be in adherence groups, or where they're supposed to be getting medication for STIs, because condoms do bust. Sex workers use condoms. That is educational. We have emphasized on this. We are not carriers, but when people actually come into the HIV industry and they come in negative, it's kind of hard with criminalization to make sure that they stay negative because of the rapes. People know that they're vulnerable to not be protected by the law. There is no access to justice, so clients We have police officers that are raping sex workers, and with the protective measures that will come with it, with decriminalization and legislation that makes sure that sex workers are part of the community where they can access services. Like for instance, right now we do not have access to PEP. You get raped today, whereas government has promised PEP for everyone.
But sex workers don't fall into that.
They don't fall into that.
Naziba, I have to leave it there, but I want to wish you the best of luck, because I know that you have got access. You're in there. You're with the biggest decision makers in this world when it comes to the fight against HIV and AIDS. You are there, and I hope that you keep that voice so that you can speak more. Look after yourself. Look after yourself.
Believe me, I'm going to drink a lot of lemon water so that I can speak up. We're here. We're not going anywhere. Good. We're going to make sure that after this we have some sort of a deadline or timeline where the SALAC report will come out from the Department of Justice, and we're tired of John Jeffries actually running away in every space that we meet him. And it's been a promise from them since way back. It's more than 15 years, so we're not going anywhere until there's change. We're tired of conferences where they talk about sex work and research that has been done, but nothing is actually happening.
All right, well, good luck. Good luck. We'll be watching with a very keen and close eye on the developments that do happen, particularly when it comes to sex workers and the plight that they go through. All right, well, today there's so much happening around the country, and in Cape Town, Vanessa Puna is there, and the focus there, of course, is on International Nelson Mandela Day. And let's go over to Vanessa.